Hello everybody and welcome back to another round of Premier League predictions. It is Ian and Thomas with you as always. But before we get going, please give this video a like. It helps us out so much on this channel. I'm going to throw it over to Thomas, who's got a comment to talk about, and then we can get into this stuff.
Oh, Sam Bowles. Oh, you had to throw some shade at me in the comments, and you were wrong. I think Ian might be able to win a round of predictions if he stopped picking Arsenal every game.
How is that throwing shade at you? It sounds like he's throwing shade at me.
He's throwing shade at me. He's telling you that you could beat me if you just ever predicted Arsenal for a win. Now remind me, Ian, how did that fare for you this week? Did it go well? Good times?
Yeah, well, it's not me who made the comment, so you don't need to get picky with me.
Oh,
but we don't need to gloss over it, do we? Let's not gloss over how last week, unless you want to brag about it.
Gloss over it. No, I want it front and center. Put the graphic on there. Let them all see how I absolutely battered you into a ground. I believe that this gives me a 7-point lead.
Yeah, I wish it was 4. It's like a Man City brother. He's wearing a Man United top, but he's really Man City in disguise. But we get the same scores right. I just can't get. We get the same number of forecasts right. I just can't get any correct scores. It's killing me. But I'm going to talk about something more cheerful, and I'm going to steal your thunder this week. And I just want to quickly mention our Patreon. Thank you to our Patreon backers. We'll bring it up again at the end. But our Patreon backers: Pessimistic Brother Alan, Matthew Bowden, Matt from Grandstand Bettors, and I'm missing one, PJ Simpson, of course, the man who made us the Mega Powers. How could I possibly forget? But thank you to all of you guys. There's details on the screen about our Patreon. If you do want to back it, that's the best way you can support us. But anybody that watches any minute of this video, you're helping out a lot. So Patreon's just there if you want to help this channel grow. But that is enough hot dogging and grandstanding. Thomas, let's jump in to this weekend's rounds of fixtures.
Burnley versus Arsenal.
You all laughed at me, didn't you, when I backed Arsenal to beat Leicester? But they just proved that they are a better side. It wasn't even a shock, because Arsenal are a better side than Leicester City, and they're just, returning back to the form that saw them go a whole season unbeaten and win the Premier League. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't. I can still remember it vaguely.
Live in the past.
And they're coming up against the Burnley side that are really struggling and got smashed by Tottenham. So if Tottenham can beat them, Arsenal can beat them really easily. 3-0 to the Gunners.
Yeah. 2-0 to the Gunners.
Don't forget Burnley won the reverse of this fixture, so Arsenal want revenge.
You should have said that earlier. Because I'm going to the next game. It's Chelsea versus Everton.
So are Chelsea actually going to try and play football in this match? Or are they just going to settle for 0-0?
I think that Chelsea and Man United's hierarchy have a little handshake deal in the background where they just literally they shake a hand and they go, "We will not play football today. You're not going to play football, right? Excellent deal." Chelsea played out the most boring game the Premier League's seen since the reverse of the fixture, but Everton are currently on their way to a 1-0 victory over Southampton, which is not hugely surprising. Southampton are on quite a poor run, but Everton are looking. And Ian, I believe the accepted vernacular for this is shit hot right now.
Yeah, they haven't really good, Thomas. Really good. I agree with you.
They haven't lost a match that they've led at halftime in something like 5 years now, which is a crazy statistic. Honestly, that is nuts. But I am going to go for a Chelsea.
Is that right, or is that one of those things that you exaggerate?
No, it was an Opta Twitter post.
Because I know you like to exaggerate these things, but is that really 5 years? Wow, that is incredible.
I need you to now keep every inch of this in while I go back and check the Opta feed. Everton haven't lost a Premier League game at Goodison Park when leading at half-time since March 2016. Played 31, won 26, drawn 5, lost 0.
Well, that's still an impressive stat nonetheless, even though they are away in this game. But I think they're actually better away than they have been at home this season. So I think it's a dangerous one for Chelsea. What do you think the score's going to be, Tom?
2-1 to the Blues from London.
I'm going for a draw. I think Everton will get a 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw in this one. Somehow
that's your first.
I'm a bit overshooting it because no one scores 2 goals past Chelsea, but they'll find a way. Richarlison and DCL are in good nick.
Your first Desmond of the day, but we move on because previous aforementioned Southampton travel to Sheffield United.
It's getting to the point where this is must-win for Southampton, isn't it? They're in a dreadful run of form. If this result stays the same against Everton, They've just been, I think they've picked up like maybe 1 point out of the last God knows how many games, like maybe 8 or 9 games, which is shocking. And their form in the first half of the season was brilliant, which has given them enough points to mean that they only probably need 2 or 3 wins to survive. And they'll be looking at this one to desperately try and get something. They need to try and reignite that pressing game, and also they haven't had a lot of luck lately in games as well. So I will be back in Southampton in this one. Sheffield United are just meandering through games at the moment. I think I'll go for a 2-1 Southampton win.
1-0 to the Saints.
Liverpool versus Fulham.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you, Liverpool. You finally won a game. Well done, you. Go, you Europe. No, honestly, this team couldn't have more injuries if they tried. Henderson's now out for 10 weeks. Like they are just getting punched in the face over and over again. And as much fun as it is to watch it, and as happy as it makes me on the inside, I think they're going to lose to Fulham here 1-0.
Wow, that's a big claim. I
can't lose at Premier League prediction. I can't lose. It's physically impossible.
As much as I would like to see it, I think Liverpool will somehow take some confidence out of that rather lackluster win over Sheffield United. That's the word I'm looking for, and I think they will beat this Fulham side. I'll go for a 2-0 Liverpool win. Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Is this a derby of sorts?
Oh, we'll get into trouble if we say it's a derby, because we'll get accused of not knowing where the Midlands is and where Birmingham is and whatever.
Wait,
they're both in the Midlands, so it's technically a Midlands derby. So we'll say it is, even if it might not.
Which team plays in Birmingham, though?
Well, I'm going to say Wolves, because I don't even know where Birmingham is.
Makes absolutely perfect sense. So Wolves played out possibly one of the worst results of the year. They drew 1-0 with Newcastle. God knows how they allowed Newcastle to get a point off them, but they clearly don't want Newcastle to go down. And Villa got a shock win against Leeds United that cut us to our core, Alan. I see this being a 1-0 draw as well.
Yeah, it feels like it. Wolves have gone back to being quite a tough side to play against, haven't they? And Villa looked much better. They looked I think that first week where Grealish wasn't there, it was a bit of a shock to their system. They looked a lot more organised in this one. And do you know what, Tom? I need to go different for you on scores in order to get something, but I just think it's going to be 1-1 as well. So I'm going to copy.
Yeah, hard to look past these sides. Tottenham Hotspur host Crystal Palace.
Finally, a bang average Tottenham side produced a little bit of spark and a little bit of form. And I actually... They looked really good against Burnley, and Burnley were really poor, and Tottenham ripped them apart, playing very direct football at pace, with Song and Kane and Bale absolutely ripping them to pieces, with Moura as well. Bale looks like he's improving, which is great to see. Looks really good. I think that they'll carry that on, and they'll cause Palace a lot of problems, and Palace they look like they're on the beach already for me, and I think Tottenham will win 3-0.
I'm going to go 2-0. My only comment is Gareth Bale looks good, and everyone hates Jose Mourinho, but he's generally regarded at least as an okay manager, and they can beat this Palace side.
You've got a lot of average players, and then he plays in a style where they park the bus. Like they not that's a cliche, but they play those two holding midfield players, and yes, against Burnley he didn't, and they looked a lot better for it. And I know they got early goals, but they just looked like they had a bit more of what we saw in the early part of the season.
Also, Bale is 80% of the player that we know he is. All of a sudden, he doesn't even need to coach them at attacking, because Son, Bale, and Kane up front, just the three of them having fun on a freaking Sunday pitch, which they rip teams apart, win the game by himself.
West Bromwich Albion versus Newcastle United.
0-0.
It's a massive game. And like West Brom did, for the first time under Allardyce, we did what they thought they would do and get a 1-0 win in the game. I don't know how it ended 1-0, but it did. Newcastle got a 1-1 draw against Wolves, but actually have been playing all right lately. And I'll just go for Newcastle, get that win. You know, I'll go for Newcastle to edge it. I'll go for a 2-1 Newcastle win.
Board 0-0. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Leicester City. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why do people keep backing Brighton? This club got 2 penalties in a game and couldn't score. They are useless. They are hopeless. They can have 75% possession of the ball and not get it in the back of the net. I understand. There's been some questions about the refereeing in this match, but I'm not here to talk about VAR. I'm here to talk about Brighton's complete fucking inability to get the ball in the back of the net. It's pathetic. It's so bad.
Absolutely. They've only got themselves to blame in those last 2 games, really. They've only got themselves to blame. And they've taken what could have been 2 easy wins and safety, and they've fallen back into being right bang in trouble again. And I'll just say on the VAR stuff that it's a nightmare for referees. It is a fucking nightmare. They're not in control of the game. They're being second-guessed every single decision they make. And I actually do feel sorry for them because they look foolish every single week. Leicester were made to feel foolish against Arsenal, and it was off the back of a bad week for them, crashing out of the Europa League and losing to Arsenal as well. And they'll want to get back to winning ways, and I think they will. I think you'll see a rejuvenated Leicester side, even without the likes of Maddison and Barnes. And I think that it won't be an easy game, but I think Leicester will win, and I'm going to go 2-1 again.
We go 2-0. I will just say very quickly on Leicester front, Brendan Rodgers now has to prove that he can end a campaign in England strong. His Liverpool sides crumble at the end of the season. Last season, Leicester City fell apart at the end of the year. And I know it's not the end of the year right now, but they are not on a good run of form. And this is not the point in the season where you want to be dropping points. This is where you want to get ahead of West Ham, who are directly below you. Build up some points now.
Yeah, but they do have some injuries to key players, and if you harp on about teams like Liverpool having that, you have to say feel a bit sorry for Leicester as well. So
Liverpool.
Western Hammersmith United versus Leeds United.
I think David Moyes is somehow not going to get Manager of the Year this year. Somehow, despite turning West Ham into a pretty awesome team who are quite fun to watch, turning Mikel Antonio into a striker. Sorry, you
carry on.
This?
You carry on.
I don't think he's going to get it. They're coming up against a Leeds side who are out of form right now. Obviously, there's been Bielsa talking about his future recently and stuff like that. There seems to be a slight cloud over Leeds, ever so slight. And I'm going to go for a West Ham 1-0 victory here.
I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to Manager of the Year.
Seriously? Oh, get out, Arteta.
Leeds are unpredictable. We predicted them to do well, and they just ran out of ideas after about 60 minutes, and we're just like, it's not working. And Villa defended really well. We didn't take into account that Villa are exceptionally good at keeping clean sheets and stuff like
Tyrone
that.
Mings is awesome.
Yeah, and Martinez, he's not bad in goal, is he? And he's no Bert Leno, but there you go. And I would like to, I don't know. I think I'm going to go for a draw again in this one. I think that Leeds. I'm going to go 1-1. Don't know why.
Did you like losing?
No,
okay.
It does seem like it. Right. Speaking about teams that like to lose, we roll on to our final game. One team in blue that seems unstoppable against one team in red that never seems like they can ever win. It's time for the main event.
Manchester City versus Manchester United.
For the first time in Premier League history, I feel you may see a side win by referee stoppage. But you don't want to hear me talk about this. You want to hear the resident expert and Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
You're accusing the ref of ending the game and giving a team a win?
Ollie's going to throw the towel in. That's not really referee stoppage, is it? So, yeah.
I was really hoping you were going to say the match was just so bad on the back of a match that was that bad direction. But no, I'm done. City 1-0. Game over. We're not playing this anymore. In fact, no. 3-0. 3-0 to City because they're not even trying anymore. I honestly am so baffled by Man United. They are, statistically speaking, the best attack in the country. They scored 53 goals this year. They've got 20 different forward players, each of them that offer something totally different to the one that came before him. And yet, whenever they come up against a side with any quality, it's definitely 2 holding midfielders versus Bruno Fernandes. That's it. Everyone else defends. Everyone sits back. There's no counter-attacking. And there's Bruno Fernandes looking mildly insane by the end of matches, just shouting at teammates, expecting someone to make a forward run. You don't do that. And then Anthony Martial playing at striker, which... as a United fan, this is such a weird season. Second place, should be really happy, but this is a bit like the Mourinho second place finish. Pretty sure we could win the Europa League this year, and it's still going to feel like we didn't try. I mean, the Premier League at the top of the table was really fun and exciting. It's now garbage. No one's trying. United have 2 wins in their last 5. I mean, they have 3 draws in their last 4 matches. The best attack in the league. They're not even the worst. No need to be critical.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it to death, haven't we? The weird thing was they got to top of the league and they were looking great. And as soon as they got to top of the league, it was like they were like, right, let's consolidate 4th place rather than thinking, let's actually win the league. The only thing I think is Man City have been brilliant, and they talked about it, but they are sort of just sleepwalking a bit through games at the moment. They nearly got a bit unstuck against Arsenal, and they nearly got a bit unstuck against West Ham, but they found a way to win. So they're not playing fluently, but they don't need to play fluently. But I'm interested to know what you're going to go with in this game.
Well, Ian, knowing Man United, they're not going to attack in any way, shape, or form. And knowing Man City, they're going to possess the ball but not take a shot until roughly the 75th minute and hope that it's on target and it goes in, and Gundogan apparently becomes the striker. So, after this in-depth analysis full of facts, figures, and commentary, my prediction is 3-1 Man United.
And why have you gone for Man United?
Because always show strength, Ian. Always.
Correct answer, Thomas, is because it's very biased opinions and you're not allowed to show weakness.
That's what I'm saying. Always show strength. Always.
Those are the words I wanted to hear from you.
Never show weakness.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Usually I do back Man United, but I'm going to be backing Man City in this one. I think Man City will win by... I think it'll be a 2-1 win. I think it'll be... I could see maybe even Man United scoring the first goal and then City just kind of coming back into it. And it's just weird. They're weird in these games of Man City, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're freaks.
All right. Man United do quite well in these games with City.
It's the only big game Ole Gunnar Solskjaer understands risk in, because he understands that if they lose, everyone expected it, and if they win, oh my god, I'm the greatest manager in Manchester. I need to apologize. We did not feature a comment in our last video, but one of our loyal listeners, A Judy, or AJUDY, if that stands for something else, but I'm going to go with Judy, had some really good picks, correct score in there. I think got 5 or 6 results correct. He did fantastically. I was chatting to him while he did it, and then I got so excited that I was up by 6 games at the time, Ian, to you, that I forgot to talk about him. So well done, listener, follower, and friend of the channel. Please keep sending us your comments and your predictions. And before we go, thank you for smashing the like button, the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you already following us on Patreon. Please jump on there. It really does support us, because this is apparently a full-time job, and I don't remember getting a contract or anything.
A full-time, unpaid job.
Yes. Also, check out our social media. Check out Grandstand Bettors. They are the best betting website online. Check them out on Fridays. We are on with them in collaboration. We give our best picks for the weekend if you enjoy betting on football. And with that said, Ian, lead us out.
Hey, Jude. Something. Just take something and make it better.